Welcome everyone to our special Tuesday High Speed Healing bonus call. I'm Debora Wayne, if you don't happen to know who I am, but it is so great to have you here. Welcome to my High Speed Healing universe. It is always a pleasure to connect with people from all over the planet who are interested in living a life that is free of pain, depression, anxiety, trauma, free of battling with food and your weight and binge eating and over drinking and over people pleasing and smoking and drugs and battling insomnia or migraine headaches or some kind of mysterious chronic condition that perhaps you've been suffering from for decades, and you've been trying to figure out what the hell is going on and how do I fix it. And so if that's you or someone you love, you're in the right place today. And I am just very, very honored. Believe me, I'm so honored that you would take time out of your busy life to join me. And we're going to have an amazing call. I'm going to cram as much as I can into this call today to help you get into the solution and out of the constant merry-go-round hamster wheel of pain. And when I say pain on the call today, what I mean is fill in the blank with your version of pain patterns or symptoms. Pain does not necessarily mean physical. I bet many of you are here today. In fact, those of you in my Zoom room, give me some thumbs up, give me some hearts or thumbs up or thumbs down if you're here because you're suffering from physical pain of some kind. But, you know, people come to me from all over the world that have extreme pain, and sometimes it's gone on for a lifetime. However, you're in the right place if you've also been suffering from feelings, emotions, anxiety, depression. Maybe you're filled with grief or sadness. The state of the world we're in is upside down and backwards, in case you haven't noticed. And I'm sure you have. And you're bound to be having feelings going on that may be difficult to digest right now. So if you're here because of shame or guilt or grief or any type of emotional pain, you're also in the right place. If you've been suffering from some kind of condition, maybe you've been given a particular label, maybe they tell you there's nothing showing up on a medical test and they don't even know how to help you. Maybe you've had a label of some type of disease, a diagnosis for many, many years, but you've tried a lot of things and nothing's working for you. Or maybe it worked for a little while, but it didn't last. Or maybe it required you to take a long list of medications that made you feel worse than what you went in with. That happens a lot with the people who come to me. They've got a long list of side effects. Many of them even become addicted to the drugs that they have to take to supposedly kill off the pain. Many of them are taking the drugs, but the pain is still there. Many people come to me who have gone the natural medicine route, and they're taking a bucket of supplements, but they're not sure anything's really working because they still feel all of the symptoms. So whether it's your waistline, your wallet, maybe you're here with financial pain, maybe you're here with relationship patterns that keep repeating that cause you a lot of pain. Maybe you've had trauma from an accident or an injury or a surgery that went bad. Maybe you have trauma from childhood or somewhere in your life where there was abuse of some type. You're in the right place, definitely. And everything I'll be sharing with you today, everything I teach in my programs, everything that I do helps that wide range of pain. So when I say that word today, you just fill in the blank with your variety and with what brings you here today. And I know some of you are here probably because someone you love or are close to or work with is suffering, and you're looking for a way to help them. And so take out a pen and paper today, and I want you to take some notes when you start to notice something grabbing your attention, something causing a physical reaction. Maybe you get excited, maybe you get afraid, maybe you want to throw up, maybe you want to run out of the room, maybe you get angry, maybe you start crying and you don't even know why. Number one, your body never lies. There is amazing wisdom in your body, and it never lies. And you might begin to discover today that you have a physical reaction to something that I say, and you want to pay attention, close attention, and write that down. Write down what I'm saying, a couple of the key words so you can go back and think about it and journal about it. Write down the time in the whatever time it is, because we'll be sending out the replay of this entire call tomorrow, and you can go back and listen again and get further insight as to what the amazing message your body is trying to gift you today. If you feel any kind of reaction, you always want to pay attention. And this is the number one thing that most people get wrong, and why often, very often, 9 times out of 10, when people come to me requesting help, why they have not been able to heal, why they feel so stuck, why they can't figure it out. Because your body, your pain has a message for you. But we live in a world that what? We try to get rid of symptoms. We try to get rid of the very thing that's got the message. We try to cut it out or drug it out. So we're not going to do that today. We're going to do just the opposite. And you're going to hear me say some things that might shake you up a bit and challenge the way you've looked at everything and thought about healing. This is not medicine. This is not meant to replace your medical practitioner, your medical solutions. This is not meant to do that. This is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, anything medical. What you will hear from me, learn from me, discover in any of my work, programs, services, is that this is a completely different understanding of how health and healing works. We're going to look at a brand new pair of glasses that are different than you're used to. And it may make you go, you may need to hear it again and again, a few times before it even sinks in. You may challenge it, and that's okay. You may be skeptical, and guess what? That is okay, and I welcome all skeptics. I don't expect you to just accept everything you hear from me or anyone else as truth. And so just be open is all that I ask you today. Be as open as you can be. Set aside everything you think you know. I'm not taking that away from you. You can always go grab it later. But for today, for the next hour or so that we're together, be open to a new understanding, something that you perhaps haven't thought about in this way before. And try it on, just like you would if you were going shopping for clothes. Just try it on. See how it feels. That's the way to really be open to information. Just notice how it feels. And I've thought quite a bit today about how to begin with you all, because there's so much happening on our planet, right? There's so much going on. And one of the things I want to impress upon you is that everything that you see playing out in the world, that's the macro, larger version of what happens with you and me on a micro, individual level. The macro and the micro are the same. And a lot of people, I hear it every day, say, God, when is the world going to change? It's a mess. It hurts. I'm scared. I'm upset. I don't know what to do. I'm confused.
Where'd my sound go?
Would you all please keep your phones muted for me? That would be a big help. That will make sure the recording is better quality. A lot of people right now are just madder than a hornet. Some people are running away, trying to escape because they're afraid. Some people are frozen with fear because they don't feel safe. Some people are spinning around and around and around in overwhelm and confusion. And some people are fighting back. And some people are getting sick and feeling their pain flaring up, their physical pain flaring up. Some people are experiencing emotional pain like never before, feeling anxious, depressed, crying for apparently no reason, feeling confused, lost. Like, what's the point? Lethargic, can't get motivated to do anything. If any of this describes you, please don't give up hope. We are going through a collective experience that is important for our growth. And all true deep change usually requires effort to build strength, to become greater, expanded, to develop our character, to really learn and gain wisdom. It's not usually a quick fix or super easy. What we're going through applies to us individually. And here's the thing that I want you to grab today. If the world is going to change, you and I must change. The world is made of individuals. Think of you and I and everyone on this call as a cell, an individual cell in the large body that we all connect with, that we're all part of. Think of your own body and think of the various different organs in your body, for example, and think of your different limbs. If your liver doesn't work, if your liver is sick, if your liver gets injured, the entire body is affected. You can't just throw it out or say, oh, I'm not going to deal with that. If you lose a leg, your entire body is affected. You can't pretend it's just doesn't matter or it's not going to affect you. What we see happening in the world is similar. And each one of us is playing a part in that. So if you're here today because of something personal and you work on that, guess what? You're also going to be helping the collective. If you're here today because you're upset by the collective, but you start to do your personal work, you're going to also help the collective. We can't just pass a law and expect everybody to follow it. We all wake up one person at a time. We have to do our individual work in order to see the change that we want to see in the world. Just like if your liver's out of balance, we have to get your liver functioning in order to see your whole body function. If your back is hurting all the time, we have to work on clearing that issue, healing that issue, because it's affecting everything else. So what happens on the individual micro is the same as it's also affecting the larger scale. And the key to pain-free living, there's several keys, there's quite a few keys, but the most important is to get into the solution rather than stay focused on the problem. I'm going to say that again. Get into the solution rather than stay focused on the problem. Now, I don't know about you, but I see a lot of people and hear a lot of people every day focused on the problem. Whether it's what's going on in the world, or what's going on with their body or their spouse or their boss or their kids or their neighborhood or their car or whatever it is, their money, whatever it is that's quote unquote causing them pain, most people are focused on the problem. But guess what? What if? What if that's the wrong place to look? What if by focusing on the problem, you may be missing the solution that's right there in front of you? Now, you may have, if you're new to my work, you may not realize that I've been working on all of these questions and issues for many, many decades now, for over 3 decades, because it hasn't gone smooth and easy for me either. I have had all kinds of ups and downs and pains and issues in my life in probably every area imaginable, from physical pain, depression, anxiety, mystery illness that nobody could figure out, becoming dependent on pain medications because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get rid of the pain. I had constant headaches and PMS. I had all kinds of joints and inflammation in my body that I couldn't seem to get rid of no matter what I tried. I had food sensitivities. I had money pain. I had bad boyfriend syndrome pain. I had pain of all types. Parental pain. You know, I've had a lot of patterns in my life that used to repeat and repeat, and I just couldn't figure out why me? Why are these repeating? I'm a good person. Why am I being punished? Is this karma? Did I do something to deserve this? Am I missing something? And the answer is yes. I had blind spots. I had blind spots. And I was being taught by what I call the lessons in Earth School. And somehow I grew up with the idea that everything was supposed to just be easy, fun, and that I wasn't supposed to have these challenges. Now, I'm not suggesting that we're supposed to and we're destined to live with pain. That's not what I'm saying. But I will say that pain is an amazing teacher. And very few people go through an entire lifetime without some type of challenges. And you could call it pain, but you could also call it the precursor to waking up, to learning lessons, to developing your character, to becoming enlightened, to developing spiritually, to appreciating your health. I didn't appreciate my health until I lost it. There were many things that I discovered that I didn't appreciate till I lost them. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that. In fact, part of what drives me in my mission to help people all over the world is to spare them the pain and suffering that I went through. Now, I can't, many people learn from pain. So trying to take that away from them may not even be valuable or good for them. But the suffering is optional. That's what I've discovered. Suffering is optional. If we are willing to learn from our pain, we don't have to go for decades suffering like I did. I got to the point where I became suicidal, and I don't wish that on anyone. It's a deep, dark night of the soul. And that is not really what we're here for. We're here to thrive. And that might seem light years away if you've had a long time of suffering. I get it. So the first thing that has to happen is, number one, you have to ask yourself, are you open and willing to look at yourself? And try on some new clothes. Because one of the things that happens, and you may have heard this definition before, is that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over, expecting different results. That's what I was doing. Same thing, eating the same thing, dating the same person, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, making the same choices. And it was leading me down the same trail. The bodies would change, the cities would change, but the lessons were the same. And oh my God, it was so painful. So I want to suggest today that you ask yourself, really ask and be honest with yourself, are you open and willing to try something new, to think a new way, to take a look, and instead of blaming the people, places, and events around you, to start to question what in you could change. And I don't mean, you didn't hear me say blame yourself. Blame doesn't work. This blame game is a dead end. I promise you, a total dead end. It's not part of the solution to anything. Blaming will keep you completely stuck. But if you're open to new possibilities, if you're open to new information, if you're open to beginning to look out a different window, then the whole world can open up to you. So we have to do away with, throw out things like judgment. Judgment of yourself, judgment of others, judgment of your feelings, judgment of your past actions. You did the best you could, believe me. See, I know today that when I made certain choices in the past and when I had certain thoughts, I didn't know at the time they were the best that I could do, but I know now that they were. They were based on what I learned growing up. And they were based on what I experienced in my life and the conclusions that I came to. Now, were the conclusions that I came to always accurate? No. And that's part of the problem, is that I believed my thoughts. I believed that my thoughts were real, were accurate, and were true. When 9 times out of 10, what I discovered, wow, most of my thoughts were not true. And they were causing an emotional reaction. And those emotions drive every single choice that we make. Think about any important decision that you've made lately or that you need to make. Don't you listen to how you feel? Don't you make that choice based on how it feels? Are you going to make a choice that makes you feel horrible? Probably not. And yet, our emotions come attached to thoughts. But how many times do you stop and really examine your thinking? How many times do you really fully feel what's going on inside you? And how many of you, just by a show of hands, either type yes in the chat or give me a thumbs up or a heart, how many of you are aware that even physical pain has to do with your thoughts and your emotions? How many of you were taught that and know how to look at that, to see the connection between the mind, the emotions, your energy, and your physical being, your physical body, and all of your relationships? We are a mind, body, emotion, energy complex that all works together as a unified whole. We're not separate car parts. These are not different departments that you can kind of leave that emotional department over there and hope, it just takes care of itself. We can't leave our energy field over there and just not think about it because we don't understand it. We can't leave our thoughts to somebody else because then we're thinking other people's thoughts, which may or may not be true and may or may not be serving you. That's what I found at the root of a lot of my pain patterns and symptoms. I was living, thinking thoughts, feeling emotions, and making choices based on other people's ideas. And it wasn't serving me. It was causing a lot of problems. So, wouldn't you like to change some of that? Wouldn't you like to find a path to freedom? And yet, one of the reasons I think that I have found that most people get scared, and yes, they get scared. They're begging for help and they get scared at the same time. And we see this playing out in the world, is that freedom requires change, doing things differently, thinking different thoughts, having different behaviors, having new conversations, letting go of the judgment, the blame. So if you want to live pain-free, it's going to require a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling, and new choices. And when most people experience the unknown, they feel out of control, and that brings up the fear. How many of you know, and just be honest, that you're not really crazy, wild, excited about the unknown and feeling out of control? Most people. That's not, nobody has yet come to me and ever said, Deborah, I'd like to pay you to help me feel more out of control. That has never happened, not once. Most people are looking to feel in control. And the big C is causing a lot of problems in our health, in our lives, in our world. It's not bad or wrong to feel in control, to feel in charge and empowered in your life. But to think that you're able to control people, places, events outside of yourself 24/7 in order for you to feel safe and in control, good luck with that. Most likely isn't happening, hasn't happened, hasn't worked, and won't work. And so we have to begin to have a new compass, a new way of navigating when we realize that we can't control everybody else. They may not be willing to do what we want them to do, that life is not going to always go our way. And that was one of the biggest things causing me pain that I discovered, was that I expected life to go my way all the time. And when it didn't, I tried harder and harder. I forced stronger and stronger to get my way. And eventually what it did was it caused exhaustion, deep frustration, and I needed to look for relief. And I found relief in the form of a pill, a potion, pot, shopping sprees, pizza, you name it. There's a lot of escapes that I tried to look for relief. And eventually they all boomeranged back on me and caused even more pain because they don't work. The Band-Aids and the boomerangs don't work. So, anybody with me? Anybody had anything similar? Yeah. So we're supposed to learn from all of this, everybody. And when we learn from it, we can become free. And freedom is what we're here to grow and expand in. We're really here to expand our sense of freedom. And you've probably, if you are not new to my work, you've heard me before talk about how what was revealed to me once I crashed and burned, and I hit literally rock bottom, and I started to go on my healing journey many years ago. One of the first things that was revealed to me was the fact that everything's made of energy. And at first I thought, wow, how, this is just amazing. I thought my physical body was just this permanent thing that couldn't change. I thought the walls, the floors, the computer, the desk, the chair, like I thought physical, whatever you could see and touch was just not changeable. But lo and behold, that is not true. And yet, how many of you were probably taught something similar? The old entire framework of science was based on this unchangeable physical universe. But we're finding now, well, many cultures have known for decades, for centuries, but it's been labeled spiritual. What we now know from physics, which is that everything literally is made of energy. And there's an entire invisible realm that you may or may not, most people not, be able to see with your physical eyes. But that doesn't make it not real. And that if you were to take a very high-powered piece of equipment and look at your body under that equipment, you would see that your physical body is actually vibrating particles of light and energy, and that nothing is standing still, never stands still, that you are constantly changing and vibrating every moment of every day. Now, when your energy vibrates slow enough, it appears dense enough that you see it as a physical form. When your vibration is faster, more subtle, it creates a different frequency, a different vibration, and it literally becomes lighter. And light is more difficult to see than the physical vibration. Are you with me? Shake your head if you're with me. Your symptoms of any type of pain, your patterns, your challenging relationships, even your money, is all made of energy. All of it. And so just like your body, it's changeable. And yes, Brenda, it is so cool. So if you're here today because you're suffering from some type of pain or symptom or pattern, this is the good news that very few are talking about on our planet. It's all changeable. So please write that down. In fact, the first thing I want you to write down is, what's the number one reason that brought you here today? What's the number one thing you're suffering from? And if you would all type that in the chat so I can get a sense of what that is as well. And then I want you to write that down on a piece of paper. My number one challenge, the number one thing I'm suffering from that I want to be free of, type in the chat and write it down on your paper. So knee pain, okay. Anxiety and pain. Narcissistic alcoholic husband. Cancer. Tension headaches, neck pain, being too hard on myself for what I feel. Pain, when you be more specific about your pain, don't just write pain. What type of pain? What does that mean to you? Feeling stuck, procrastination, neck pain from an accident, irritable bowel, knee recovery, anxiety, painful thinking, hormone imbalance, lots of emotions, eating disorder, anxious thoughts, burning pain in my legs, my feet are tight and feel restricted, food sensitivity. So you get the idea. We have a lot of different types of symptoms here today. Now write this down, everyone. Your symptoms are never the root cause of the problem. These are just symptoms. Everything I've read and everything else in the chat, these are all symptoms. They are not the root cause. Now, I want you to think about this. If you had a tree and the leaves on the tree and the fruit on the tree was dying, it was shriveled and brown and falling off and not edible and not growing, would you take the water and the sunlight and the soil and vitamins for the soil and pour it over the dead fruit? Pour it over the leaves? No. You would need to go deep down and find the roots of the tree, nourish the roots, and allow the tree to heal. And where are these roots? They're usually hidden from view. Think about that. The same is true with you. Your roots are often hidden from your view. They're not always obvious. And this is why so many people get stuck and feel blocked and keep trying to figure it out and think harder and think more and Google it more often and do more research, and they can't figure it out because you're looking at a symptom. This is also in the world. We're looking at symptoms blowing up everywhere. The symptoms are not the root cause of the problem, which is why we're not resolving them. So, if we want to get to the roots, we have to listen more carefully. We have to be open to a new way of thinking, and we have to be willing to change. And it may not be comfortable. Let me repeat that. It may not be comfortable because no matter what you are experiencing, you at least know how to handle it. You're used to it. You've become familiar with your pattern and your pain and your symptoms. And when you step into a new solution, it may be uncomfortable and unfamiliar. And guess what? I've yet to meet a human being who welcomes the change and the discomfort. Most people like familiar. So you have to be willing to get a little uncomfortable. But if you have someone with you who has the tools, who's come out the other side, who's there to support you, when you know you're not alone, when you feel safe because you know you're not alone, and you know someone else has been there, done that, then doesn't that make it easier? It does. And it will give you the confidence to take the next step. And that's all I'm saying and suggesting, is that you take the next small step. I'm not suggesting you try to change everything overnight. That will probably freak you out and make you run back to shore. And this is why so many people say, oh, I wish everything would change. Well, you probably don't. But if you were to take one small step and get some results, and then go, oh my God, now I'm motivated to take another step. And I feel safe to take another step and another step. It's easier and more effective to go that route. Now, Tamara is saying, I still don't feel safe. Well, that's because at the root of almost all dis-ease and pain, guess what? It's not feeling safe. Think about it. When you had that car accident, when you were told you had cancer, when you discovered your husband was an alcoholic, when you hurt yourself and your low back and you couldn't walk, when your knees started flaring up, when you lost concentration and focus and your memory started acting up, when you found everything you ate was bothering your stomach, when you discovered you couldn't stop binge eating, did you feel safe? Were you comfortable? My guess is the answer is hell no. In fact, what I would put money down is that you were already not feeling safe, and then it made you feel even more afraid, more unsafe, more scared, like you either wanted to run, freeze up, or fight back. Some people are natural fighters. I was when I was younger, but then I discovered freezing. That was, I just didn't know what to do, so I would freeze and I would do nothing. Some people are natural fleers. They just run and just avoid because they're terrified. What type are you? What do you notice when you don't feel safe? Do you fight, freeze, or flee? What do you notice? And be honest with yourself and think about this later when you get off the call. And I want you to go back and I want you to do a little inventory for your homework. And I want you to go back through your life and think about the times that you've had pain of different types, or injuries or accidents, or you've had shocking news or death or divorce or loss of a job or loss of a dream and been disappointed. I want you to go back and I want you to look at what was your reaction. I want you to ask yourself, what was my reaction? Did I fight? Did I freeze? Did I flee? Did I run away? So when I was 6, I ran away for the first time. I first tried to fight back and no one would listen to me because I was 6. And what do you know? You're 6. So I actually ran away at 6. That shows you I was not comfortable already by the age of 6. Now, that doesn't mean I was interpreting everything correctly, but I was uncomfortable enough to run away. Something's wrong with that picture. So I want you to think back, because it will give you great insight into what you're probably still doing that you're unaware of, that is not getting you where you want to be, and that's causing you to feel stuck or blocked or unable to figure out what's going on with you. You might be running away in denial. See, denying something is running away. Pretending, stuffing, repressing, suppressing is running away. Avoiding, procrastinating, that's running away. Not saying anything, not doing anything, that's often running away. It also could be freezing. If you freeze, if the people that say to me, Deborah, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I don't know. If that's your answer, you're in freeze mode. Because guess what? We always know what the next step to take is, but we're afraid to take it. So those people that freeze go into, oh, I'm spinning. I don't know. I don't know. That's freezing. Or you just don't do anything. You literally go into lockdown. You probably will notice tension, tightness, stiffness in your body. Your gut might clench. You might stop digesting food. You might stop sleeping. You might stop talking to anybody and isolate. And then if you're a fighter, you might get really angry and just feel angry, like you just want to scream at everybody. Everybody's getting on your nerves. You're mad at everything. You start, taking it out on people in traffic, your family. People are starting to look at you like, what's wrong with her or him? You might find everyone is pissing you off. And you might notice physical symptoms as a result of any of these 3 responses. All 3 of these can disrupt well, first of all, they all 3 cause stress. They cause you to shift into what's known as a sympathetic nervous system state. That's a fancy way of saying it causes you to go into the stressed out mode, and it disrupts your hormones, your sleep, your digestion, your elimination. It can cause all kinds of physical symptoms. Yes, physical and emotional. And what we need to be in order to feel safe is the opposite. We need to be in the parasympathetic nervous system state, which is known as the relaxation response. And I want you to stay till the end of the call today, because I'm going to teach you a very powerful breathing technique to create equilibrium in your mind, body, emotions, and energy field. And this is something you can do anytime, any place, anywhere, completely free. And if you practice it, it will create greater equilibrium, which will then affect your health in a positive way, your relationships, your mind, your body, your energy field, and your emotions. So stay with me here. Okay, where was I? So if you're in fight, flight, or freeze, you're in your sympathetic nervous system. That equals problems, guaranteed, guaranteed. If you're in your parasympathetic nervous system state, you're in the relaxation response. And they often call that the rest and digest, because that's what it does. It causes the body to go into deep rest, and it helps digest not only food, but life. And this is something else I really want you to grasp today and write this down. You don't just digest food. You digest your entire life. Everything that you take in is affecting you. And you're taking in much more than just food. People are obsessed with food. They think food's the answer to everything or the problem for everything. It is not. You are all day long taking in other people's words, other people's thoughts, other people's emotional energy. You're taking in air, sunlight, fake artificial light. You're taking in frequencies from all the devices, the electronics. You can't see any of that stuff, but it's real. You're taking in your own emotions. You're trying to digest your own thoughts. And guess what? They know from science, the average person thinks 90,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts to digest. You're taking in food, yes. You're taking in people, the environment that you're in. All of these experiences that you have, you're needing to digest them, to assimilate them, and to release them, not just carry them around like rocks. This is why so many people are burdened by life, and literally it affects your spine, your posture, your face, your skin, your organs, your energy flow. Everything in your life is affected by what you're taking in and trying to digest and release. Most people are not releasing life. They don't know how. They're just burdened by it. How many of you have ever said, oh my God, I'm so drained. Whenever I'm around that person, I feel so drained. Whenever I'm around that person at work or that boss or that room, I get a headache. My stomach hurts, my neck hurts, my shoulders get tense. You're being affected all the time. So it's back to energy. You need to become a master of your energy in order to flow with life and have life flow through you, because avoiding isn't the answer. And what most people do is they try to avoid, right? Or they go around, over, under, because they don't know how to literally flow with life and let it flow around them. It gets stuck in them. It literally, life gets stuck in them. Those of you, especially who think that you are empathic, or you've been told you're an empath, or you know you're sensitive to other people or to electromagnetic frequencies or sunlight or foods, that you think you're sensitive or maybe too sensitive. You're not too sensitive. It's great to know and to get that kind of feedback. Your body's giving you feedback. Your body is a giant feedback machine. Do you want to turn off the feedback? No, you don't. The feedback is there to tell you when something is not good for you. But what happens is, rather than just like I said earlier, trying to cut out or drug out the symptom that doesn't feel good. We want to learn how to let it go through us, release it, not carry it around, and not convert it into a symptom of pain. That's how, if you keep repeating that process, that's how disease is created, my friends. The dis-ease of life. You're either in ease or in dis-ease. In running away, fighting back, or freezing up doesn't solve anything. So your body is a feedback machine, and you want to learn from it. So here's a comment that I want to share because it will give you some insight. This is in the chat. The feedback that I used to get is that it's everything is too much to handle. So I would shut down my senses. So Tanya, the feedback that you used to get is not that life is too much to handle. That's a thought that you chose to think based on your programming. Some people don't have that thought. Some people say, bring it on. I'm a warrior. I can handle whatever life throws at me. But other people think, oh my God, it's too much. I can't handle that. I'm not strong enough to handle that. And they get knocked over by it. They feel weak and not strong enough to handle it. And so they either shut down, they freeze up, they fight back, or they run away. This is why you're going to hear me say again and again and again, your thoughts, oh my goodness, your thoughts are the doorway, the key that unlocks the door to everything else in your life. If you really start to examine how you're thinking, you'll see why you feel a certain way, why you repeat and repeat and repeat a certain habit. That's why you make a certain choice. And when you repeat the choice, you create these habits, and your habits become patterns. And those patterns become the way of life. So if you want to undo everything and unwind that ball of string, start really taking a good look at your thoughts. And if you want my help with that, you reach out and I'm happy to help you. That's why I created my programs, because I found most people's thinking is circular and faulty. They're caught in a web, just like I was, in a web of faulty thinking that's getting them round and round and round the same merry-go-round, and they can't get off. Judy is saying that during, quote, difficult times, my thinking is quieter and I seem to know what to do. And then the habitual thinking runs amok. So see, when we do take quiet time and you begin to listen at a very deep level and not run and not freeze and not fight, you listen and you stop resisting what is really going on in your head and in your heart. And you listen to it. This is the next key that unlocks the door even further. You must write this down. You must develop a deep relationship, an intimate relationship with yourself and your deep inner self. So this key is absolutely critical to your health and your happiness and your high energy. You must develop a deep, intimate relationship with your inner self. You've got to stop at some point running around like a chicken with their head cut off, looking for the answer outside of you, looking for Dr. Google, looking for that guru, looking. Now, the answer may come from a source that shows up for you. I'm not saying ignore everything, but when you don't take the time to get quiet and you don't listen to your inner GPS, and you all have one, yes, you do. Even if it's dim, even if you have never learned to trust it, I promise you, I guarantee you, you have an inner GPS. And you may need a little support to get that turned up, the volume turned up, and to learn to trust it, but you have an inner GPS. You've always had it, you have it now, and you will always have it. And it's critical, especially with what's going on in the world, that you learn to listen and honor and follow your inner sovereign GPS. That inner guidance is linked up to, call it God, call it the universal mind, call it divine mind, call it the 0 point field, call it what you wish, nature. There's wisdom that's greater than your intellect, greater than your intellect, greater than what you've learned from a book or school that you have access to. But you will not find that if you're distracted and rushing around, frantic or freezing or fighting. You won't find it there. You'll find it in the quiet inside. It will reveal itself to you. That's what changed my life. The truth was revealed to me. I did not find it in a book. So Feroza is asking a great question. What if you listen? What if you realize what is causing the pain, but you're not sure where to go from there? That's where sometimes, yes, you might need some help from a guide. You might need somebody else who's been there, done that, and can help you draw the answers out from you, because you, Feroza, you do know where to go. You may not recognize the answer, and you may not feel confident to do it alone, and you may not access it easily yet alone, but with a guide, with a mentor, a coach, with some assistance. And this is where I want to say that you must pay close attention. You don't want to find someone who tells you what to do. You want to find someone who helps you draw your answers out from within you. Because you see, what's right for me may not be right for you. And we want to make sure to not impose our will on someone else. The truth for you is inside of you, Feroza, and everyone else. I promise you that. But you may not feel confident or comfortable, and you may have trouble accessing it at first. So again, this is why we need to honor our own truth, and we may need a guide. I sure did. And that's why I've created all my programs, my pain-free living program, my high-speed healing universe, the membership, all of these things that I do when I work with people one-on-one. All of what I do is help draw those answers, nurture those answers from out of you. You already have your answers. But we get lost in the forest because we haven't learned to think properly and to look for them properly. And we're grasping so desperately outside of ourselves for you to have my answer and you to have my answer and that book and this and that. Okay, so there's value in learning. Absolutely. By the way, I wrote a book for this reason. It's called Why Do I Still Hurt? And those of you who have not downloaded the free copy of this book yet, please do so. It's going to ask you even more questions than I'm asking today, because the questions are going to draw out of you your answers. See, you're not going to find on page 40, do this and it will fix your pain. What you're going to discover is that if you start asking new questions and thinking new thoughts, you're going to make new discoveries. You're going to take new actions and make new choices and think new thoughts and have a new reaction. That's what the book is for. So please download a copy. If you want a copy where you can underline and do all that, you can find it on Amazon. It's called Why Do I Still Hurt? And you have a free copy to download to any device on the website, which is internationalcpi.com. And please feel free to send that to anyone that you know that's suffering. Send them the link to the website. And you can also send them to internationalcpi.com/gift. And that will take you there as well. So Questions, type them into the chat. What are you hearing me say? What are you aware of? What's your body telling you today? Type your questions for me in the chat, please. Okay, so this is an important question and why there's so much confusion. Jean is asking, how can we have the answers if we don't know the right type of treatment to get rid of what is causing the pain, conditions, or disability? So Jean, this is exactly the misunderstanding and why I'm doing these calls again and again and again, and why I wrote my book. You're looking for a treatment before you've even discovered what's really going on at a deeper level. You're thinking in an old paradigm that looks at symptoms and tries to treat symptoms. So you're asking the wrong question. The question is not, what type of treatment do I need? The deeper question is, what message is your body sharing with you? What in life is causing you pain? Who, what, when, and where do you notice pain and feeling anxious, depressed, upset, any emotional discomfort coming up? We have to go deeper to the thoughts and the emotions rather than looking for the treatment. That's putting the cart before the horse. And it's why you're stuck. And the answers are much deeper. They're not what you're typically asked when you go to a practitioner. This again is why I created my programs. And I know Feroza, you've heard me speak before, or Jean, you've heard me speak before, but I want you to really go deeper, and I really want you to read my book and make sure you do the exercises in the book, or come reach out for a private session, because this is the very question that causes most people to get stuck. They're looking for the treatment, the pill, the lotion, the potion, but they don't know and understand what feedback your body's giving you, that where you need to look at your beliefs, your emotions, your choices, your habits, your patterns. This is what's lying at the root, and that we have to go deeper. The three things Joanna is asking, what are the three things that we must do that are mentioned in the email? Well, I just said them, but I'm going to say them in a different way now so that you hear the three exact things. If you want to live pain-free, there are three exact things you must do. So both of these questions are related. Number one, you must learn to find the damaging, destructive thoughts that you are thinking that are at the root of pain. You must find the thoughts that cause you to feel discomfort. You see, the body is the last place anything shows up. The body is the effect, not the cause. Listen, everyone, listen close. If you hear nothing else that I say today, the body is the effect, not the cause. The cause begins with thoughts. So the first most critical thing we must do is begin to examine our thoughts. Take them out. Do the work and examine the thoughts. And are they even true? And are they causing you pain? That's number one. Number two, we must find and release the damaging, destructive, disturbing emotions. Emotions are energy. So are thoughts. Thoughts and emotions are energy. You're constantly thinking and you're constantly feeling. Even if you're unaware, you are having emotions. And in fact, those of you that are not aware of having emotions are actually suffering more than those who are, because your emotional energy is going somewhere. And if you're not expressing and releasing your emotions properly, it's going internal and it's imploding. And if you do that enough, it's going to come out sideways as a symptom. Literally, it turns into physical symptoms. All emotion has to go somewhere. So for example, if in your home there's a lot of fighting and yelling and violence, screaming and breaking furniture, that emotional energy is literally, the vibration of that is going into the walls, the furniture, your body. That energy goes somewhere until you learn to release it. This is why people are in a lot of chronic pain and don't realize it. If you're around other people and there's highly charged emotions, you may be carrying other people's highly charged emotions because you don't know how to release. And you're taking things personally, and you're taking things on that aren't yours, and they're really none of your business, but you don't know that. So even when I was a little girl, we would go out to dinner, and I remember feeling other people in the restaurant, and I found that disturbing because I've always been very sensitive to other people's emotions. And so I would say to my mom, that man over there, it's bothering me. And she'd say, oh, honey, just, that's nothing. But see, it bothered me. She couldn't feel what I was feeling. And I didn't know what to do about it. All I knew was it didn't feel good, safe, it didn't feel comfortable. So the three things: we must find and release the damaging thoughts. Number two, we must find and release the damaging emotions. And number three, we must find and clear the energy field. That's where I love to come in and help, because it's my greatest life discovery, is how to scan an energy field and instantly find the disturbances and help people to release these. And oftentimes there is instantaneous results, and you don't have to do a thing. It's actually can be very relaxing, and the easiest, fastest way to heal is to make sure you get your energy field moving and shaken. And that's the greatest skill that I can offer people, and why I'm just so passionate about the high-speed healing sessions, because I've seen nothing short of miraculous results for many years. If you haven't experienced that yet, you can do that privately. You can do that once a month in the high-speed healing universe. Those of you who are like, oh my God, I got to do that all the time, you can do that in the pain-free living program every single week. There's quite a few different ways that I offer it. So reach out either on the website or email us for the information on how to experience the high-speed healing. It's powerful. And I know for some people, they don't quite understand energy healing. And believe me, not all energy healing is the same. So they get thrown in the bag, but they're not all the same. Otherwise, I had learned and practiced other methods, many other methods earlier in my life, but they weren't getting the results until this one came in and was revealed to me. In about 2006, this was revealed to me. And since that day, literally since that day, I've never looked back, and I've never practiced any of the other methods, including hypnotherapy. I've never done any of my old methods ever again, because this has been producing results faster, deeper, more profound, and just for so many more people all over the world. It's really what's enabled me to help so many people. It works individually, it works for groups, really powerful. So I encourage you to experience that. All right, so those are the three things. Brenda, I can't in one call teach people how to find every answer. So it becomes a practice of self-care, which is why I like to teach different skills. Today, I will teach you a method to get quiet in just a few moments, and a way to learn to breathe that will shut up your head, all that mental chatter that's actually in the way of you feeling and getting answers. The mental chatter is usually the main culprit for most people, that's getting in the way of you hearing the truth, of you knowing your answers, of you feeling what's right for you. That mind chatter has to quiet down so that you can either feel know, sense, hear. You might even see a picture of what's right for you. And if you practice it, and I mean practice it like you would any other skill, you will get better and better and better and better and stronger and more clear and aware, and you will find your answers. So, and there's many different tools that I teach. This is just one of them that's everyone can do. You can teach it to children, no matter what age, anyone can do this, and it's completely safe. If nothing else, it will calm down your nervous system, which will help you in many, many ways that I've mentioned earlier in the call. And you will feel with practice, you will feel safer and more comfortable and more clear. And isn't that what we all want? We want to be clear. We want to feel comfortable. We want to feel safe in our skin, comfortable in our skin, and know what to do, know our next step, right? Now, Tamara's asking, what if perceived danger is there? And I have to stay in it, but I can't heal because of it. Well, basically what you're telling me is that you're a victim and that you have no choice. And this is the biggest problem on planet Earth, is victim consciousness that says, I have no other choice. I'm stuck here. This is what I have to deal with. So the answer is, you're not stuck. You might perceive danger. You might actually have real danger, and you need to do something about it. Getting healthy, well, and in your power often requires taking action. You can't just think yourself out of everything. Some things require action and making a new choice. Some answers involve saying no, saying goodbye, saying I'm done. Some solutions require leaving, some require moving in a new direction, some require starting something, solutions require continuing something, some solutions require practicing new skills. It's not a black and white answer for everyone. You have to, but you're not a victim. There are always choices, I promise you. And if you cannot see any other choice than the one you're in, you need to get someone to help you, whether it's me or not. You need to find someone to help you see your other choices, because I promise you, the lesson we're all learning collectively is we are not victims. We are not victims. But if we think we are, if we believe we are, we will feel like we are, and we will act like we are. And that is where you will be stuck, and you will be. But there really are other choices, so you're not stuck. This is interesting. Diana's saying, my mother once told me that she was afraid that if she started crying, she would never stop crying. And that made me realize the atmosphere of shame around expressing emotions. Wow. That was when I was 50 or 60. So Diane, I really hear you. And I grew up with the same mother, sisters from another mother. And one of the things I learned very young was certain emotions, you don't feel them, you don't talk about them, you don't bring them here, we don't discuss them, we don't have them in our family. Well, guess what? That is why it will never resolve. And that's why people are afraid that they're going to cry forever, because they've been stuffing it for so long, denying, suppressing, repressing, that it's been building and growing. And you're adding energy to the very thing you're trying to get rid of. This is another one of the keys to unlock the door of why people get stuck in pain patterns and symptoms of disease, because they are afraid or unwilling to let the emotions come up and feel them and release them. And if you want to heal, you must learn to feel. Write that down, everyone. If you want to heal, you must learn to feel. If you want to change an abusive pattern, you must learn to feel. And at first, if you've been stuffing for decades, you've got some feeling to do. And once, this is what I mostly teach people, because that's probably the number one issue I find, is that most people have not allowed themselves to feel. They're afraid of feeling, so they keep it down. And they're adding energy to the fire. It's like putting a log on the fire they're trying to put out, and it won't ever go out. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. And this is why those of you who have tried everything and nothing's worked to heal your pain or disease, this is most likely what you're doing. You have emotions that are energy, that are internal, that you are not either not aware of at all, or you've been stuffing and denying and suppressing. That energy has power. It's a force as real as electric light. And you are using it improperly, and it's not releasing, and it's causing pain and symptoms. These are the roots, my friends. And if you've been judging yourself or been judged for having certain emotions, you're not letting them up. And I've worked with people, for example, who had numbness in their hands and feet, numbness in their whole body. I've had people with digestive trauma, people who were sensitive to everything they ate, people with migraines, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, leg pain, people with thyroid issues, people with insomnia. The list goes on and on. Even people with paralysis. The roots had huge emotional component that they weren't aware of. And in my programs and when I work with people, I help bring up, that's one of the advantages of the high-speed energy healing. It starts to move that emotional energy in the most rapid way possible and brings it up. And people start to release it and discover they don't have to be afraid of it, that it actually releases quickly. It can often release without you having to go back into the trauma. It doesn't re-trigger the trauma. It is just the simplest way that I'm aware of to release the painful emotions. And once they start doing that, they lose the fear of emotions. They realize that they don't have to keep doing that. And they stop building up decades of pain and symptoms. That's what we want. That's what I want for you. You don't have to do what I did. I built up decades of pain and symptoms because I was unwilling to feel. And it turned into symptoms. You don't need to do that. There's a solution that's fast. Beliefs, emotions, energy field. These are the three keys, and they really work. If you haven't read the success stories on my website, please do so. It's going to blow your mind as to what is possible, how dramatic. People come to me all the time. They have 30, 40 years of pain, 30, 40 years with a certain diagnosis. And in a very short time, and some of them pain-free right away after the first session. Not everybody, no, but a lot of people very rapidly will start to release and feel the relief and feel better. So I want that for all of you. And it doesn't matter. Don't judge or feel, oh, I'm 50 or 60 now. Age has nothing to do with it. Do not beat yourself up. Do not let that be a limitation or get in your way. I work with people of all ages. You know, you're going to live because you're made of energy. You are going to be alive somewhere for eternity. Energy never dies. So 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 is nothing in the scheme of eternity. It's just a matter of it's time. You're getting your wake-up call, or you would not be on a call like this. It's time to wake up. It's time to shift. It's time to get free. That's a reason to celebrate, not to feel like, oh my God, why couldn't this have happened years ago? Don't even go there with your thoughts. Let's see. Tamara is asking, is it possible that high-speed healing can help me realize that I have stuffed emotions for many, many years? Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of choices people are being asked to make right now that are causing tremendous emotional pain. People are being, someone's commenting here in the chat that her husband was told that he had to get the vaccination or leave his job. This is a very disturbing, uncomfortable choice for many people, I realize, and I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I am here to say that your answers are within. And if you, in my years of experience, both personally and professionally, I have yet to see anyone who followed their inner guidance who didn't thrive. In my own life, I made some very scary choices, and everyone said, "Are you crazy? You're going to do what? You're going to leave what job? You're going to quit what? You're going to go there? You're going to do that?" And I know that it did not seem logical or look logical to other people, but it was my guidance. And by following it, I can promise you in every case, although no, it wasn't always comfortable. It required me learning new skills sometimes or building strength in a way that I had not done before. But in every case, I have grown, I have expanded in my life. I've made more money, not less. But even at times when I've lost money, it didn't kill me. I learned what I needed to learn from that. And then I ended up stronger in that department as well. The career has expanded, not contracted, by following my guidance. My relationships improved, my health improved. And when I go against my knowing, it has always led to some type of pain or symptom. Now, again, I don't beat myself up. Well, maybe sometimes for a minute, and then I realize what I'm doing and I stop, because it won't get you anywhere to beat yourself up. So you have to learn from it and course correct immediately so that you do, a very wise person shared with us once, "To thine own self be true." And I do believe in that, and I follow that, and it has worked for me every time. So that's the best I would like to give you today. All right, let me take a couple more questions, one or two more questions, and then we're going to do the meditation, the breath work. Let's see. Diane has another interesting comment here. "After 30 years ago, I healed some sciatic pain in just 1 week after expressing some anger at a couple of people in my life." Yes, Diane, that is exactly what I'm saying here today, that when we are expressive beings. Every single one of you is here to express who you are. Now, does that mean you go beat people up and bully people to get your way? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But appropriate expression of who you are, if you are not free to express, that energy will implode. If you are not free to express, that energy will turn on you and turn into something painful. This is why freedom is our greatest, most important value. Freedom. This is why freedom of speech is so important, because if you aren't free somewhere to feel safe enough to speak, that energy will turn on you and harm your health or harm you in some way. If you are in a toxic environment where you cannot be free to express, where you're not allowed to be seen or heard, where your feelings don't matter, where you're judged or punished for who you are and what you feel and what you think and what you believe, it will turn on you and it will turn into some form of pain or symptom. Freedom is our greatest gift, but we have to take that gift. We have to discover how to express. If you already know that you've grown up in an environment, or you're in an environment now where you don't feel free to express, you may need some support and help. I'm here for you, but you have to get what you need, take the action to get what you need. Otherwise, you may be too frightened. And this is what happens. People let fear drive their lives instead of love. And love is the highest vibration there is. And love is the most powerful vibration there is. But that means loving yourself as well as others. It is not love to others or self to deny who you are. When have you ever seen, for example, think of the countries where women are not allowed to speak. Think of the times when women were not allowed to work or vote or walk outside freely. This was not a service. This was not healthy. This did not cause growth. This is not the parasympathetic nervous system response that will come as a result of that. So think about in your own life, where do you hold yourself back? Where do you Botox yourself and freeze your feelings, your thoughts, yourself? You came into this life with a blueprint. Everything in nature has a blueprint to follow. Think about it. If you plant tomato seeds, it will grow tomatoes. It follows the blueprint. If you plant cactus seeds, you're going to grow cactus. If you plant the seeds for a rose bush, you're going to get a rose bush, not a dog or a cat or a daffodil. Everything has a blueprint, including you. Everything in nature has a blueprint to follow. But remember, human beings have been given intellect, free will. You can override your blueprint, which may or may not be the smartest, wisest, healthiest, happiest, high energy choice to make. So this is where listening inside, following your instinctual gut, heart, nature, following your blueprint may be better than your logic and what you've been conditioned to believe to be good for you. I followed what I was taught to believe was good for me and would lead me to happiness. And it led me to lying on the floor of my big, beautiful closet in my big, beautiful house. Yes, it got me a house, but I was addicted to pills. I had to drink every night till I passed out because I couldn't sleep. I was a binge eater. I was unhappy. I hated my career. I was having suicidal thoughts. That's where it led me. Now, you don't have to take it down to the closet bottom basement like I did. You can get off that elevator much higher, on a higher floor, and that's what I want for you. But it does require learning to feel, examining those beliefs, throwing some of them out, taking new actions, and course correcting so that you are flowing with life instead of arguing with life, fighting life. When one of the signs of being of not following your blueprint is you'll find yourself arguing a lot, bucking up against this problem and that problem and hitting a dead end. Lots of failed or what's the word I'm looking for? Argumentative, challenging relationships. That's one of the clues. All right, my friends, there's a lot of great chats and questions here. We could talk for a month. Please listen to the replay again tomorrow. You're going to hear things you didn't hear today. And come back. And like I said, if you need more support, please reach out to me. Internationalcpi.com. You can explore the different services there. There's something for every budget, from free calls to private, personal, in-depth, the VIP. There's something for everyone. So don't let the idea that I can't afford it get in the way for you. You can't afford to live with pain the rest of your life. That's going to have a much greater cost than any investment in your health. So reach out, let's discuss it, find something that will work for you. That's what I say. Let's have a conversation, find out what will work for you. All right, now let's go into this breathwork technique that is designed to help you calm down, quiet down, feel more comfortable, get into a parasympathetic relaxation response, and equal everything out, create a harmonious response in your body, mind, and spirit. Sound good? All right, take everything off your lap and close your beautiful eyes and listen to the sound of my voice. And I'm going to be counting. And if the count is too fast or too slow for you, just go at your own pace. Eventually, I want you to go at your own pace anyway, but I'm going to count while I instruct you tonight. So if it's too fast or too slow, just speed it up or slow it down. We're going to inhale, we're going to hold, we're going to exhale, and we're going to hold. And we're going to count to 4 for each one. So here we go. Slowly inhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold empty with no breath. 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly. 3, 4. Hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4. Relax your low belly. 2. As you inhale. 4. Now hold. Full. 3, 4. Exhale gently. 3, 4. Hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale now. 2. All the way out. 4. Hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale again. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, hold the breath out, 2, 3, 4. Now just take a normal, regular breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and let out a big sigh. Again, take another deep breath in through your nose, regular, normal breath. Open your mouth, let out a big sigh. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, rub your hands together, stretch your arms overhead as you inhale. Come all the way back and notice the difference in how you feel. Now, if you found that was too slow, you speed it up until you find a pace that's comfortable for you. And when it's super easy at the count that works for you, I want you to begin to slow it down. If counting to 4 is too long, count to 2, count to 3, work your way up to 4. If 4 was easy for you, then count to 5 or 6. It should not be a strain or a struggle. Keep slowly increasing and slowing it down until it feels comfortable, and then increase the count and slow it down even further. I want you to practice this every day for 2 minutes. You can all find 2 minutes a day. It's better to be consistent and practice for 2 minutes than to do it once a week for an hour. So, consistency is king. Go at a pace that does not cause you any strain. Let it be comfortable. Even when you're holding your breath, yes, you might feel it, but it shouldn't be where you're feeling like you're going to pass out. If you feel dizzy or lightheaded, take a breath or let the breath out. Don't cause strain. Now, never ever do it while you're driving. Always do it while you're sitting down, not when you're standing or walking around. Don't do it when you're working on chopping or operating equipment or machinery. Just take 2 minutes. Take that time for yourself. You deserve it, and you will be blown away what happens when you practice this regularly, consistently. Now, what did you notice? Put some comments in the chat. What did you notice? How did you and do you feel? What's something you experienced? What questions do you have? Before we go tonight, I want to make sure that you're on the right track with it, that you know what to do, and what did you notice as a result? Put some comments in the chat for me. Did anybody feel calmer, quieter? Did you notice, for example, oh, Cindy said, my anxiety chest pain is almost gone. Now, who doesn't want that? So those of you who say you can't afford anything, think again. I just gave you a key to the kingdom that costs you nothing except an hour of your time. Practice this, please. That was 5 minutes. And Cindy's anxiety and chest pain is almost gone. Please, no more excuses to Deborah ever again. Okay, that's just awesome. Sarah is asking, can we do this lying down? You can, but you may fall asleep. And I'd rather you learn to do this consciously and awake and use it as a way to improve your health while you're sitting and alert. Then, if you want to do it to fall asleep, which it will help you relax and release the excess tension from the day, if you want to do it a second time, do it while you're lying down in bed at night. But I would really practice first, most important, first thing in the morning when you're sitting up is a great time to do it to set the tone for the day, or do it in the middle of the day before the stress is really built up. Do it anytime you feel anxious or stressed. You can do it more than once a day. Anytime you feel stressed or anxious, do it. Confused, lost, angry, any undesirable emotion, do it. Just take 2 minutes. Say, excuse me, leave the room. Rather than blowing up at your family or your team or your coworkers, leave the room, go in the restroom and take a minute or two and do this. And then if you like help with sleeping better at night, do it before bedtime as well. Now, some people are going to notice they feel more energized after doing it. So you're going to have to see see, most people are carrying around so much stress and emotions that once that's released, they feel more energy. So it may not be the best thing for everyone to do at bedtime. You're going to need to see how it affects you. Yawn, yes, because you're releasing. Yawns are a sign of releasing stress and tension. Brenda said, I think I feel lighter. Yes, you will. If you practice this, I promise you, you will feel lighter, freer. You're going to notice a lot of different things in your physical body, in your mind, and in your emotions. Did anyone notice how your mind quieted down? And notice I didn't tell you to do anything with your mind. All I taught you to do was breathe and count. If you do this, your mind will quiet down, I promise you. For Rosa said, a few of the pains in my back went away. Yes, we love that. Love it, love it. Thank you so much. I keep forgetting to breathe, so this is perfect. You're welcome, Chris. Breathing is the key to living, in case nobody ever told you guys. If you don't breathe, you're not going to live very long and your brain won't function. So we need to breathe. I mean, most of us are not breathing right now, especially with what's happening. There's a tendency when you're scared or when you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode to either stop breathing and hold your breath or breathe very shallow in the upper chest. This will change all of that. Sonia said, my mind was quiet. Yes. Jean said, my shoulders are a bit more relaxed. Yes, keep doing it and they'll completely relax. After the exercise, my back stopped hurting. Great. Okay, these are awesome results. It took you less than 5 minutes the first time you did it. So if you practice this, what can you imagine is possible for you? You see, what can you imagine? If you got results in less than 5 minutes, try it for a week. And I want you to email me what you notice after doing it for a week. All right. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for being open, teachable, willing. Thank you for your great questions, your great comments. I'm going to take some of the questions that I wasn't able to get to today and turn them into videos that I'll post on my social media channels. So thank you for those questions. And I may do another free call. I will definitely do another free call and I'll see what questions I can weave into that as well. And I'll choose a topic perhaps from the questions. So thank you. They did not go to waste. And all I can say is do not give up hope. Do not lose hope. Do not lose hope. Do not lose hope. Do something today to help. You must change if you want things to be different. I'm here for you. I love you. I've got the solution. There's more where what you got today. There's more of that for you. Reach out to me anytime and see you on the next call. Much love, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. We'll send the replay out tomorrow as well. And enjoy and share it with those you know who are suffering. Bye for now.